So now we're going to be having with us Christian Chegne. And Christian is going to talk about, and this is amazing, about being the catalyst for the environmental change. And this is absolutely...
Hi, guys. So today I wanted to touch on this idea that I've been kind of thinking and acting upon for some time now. And it's the way in which NFTs catalyze environmental change. And I wanted to kind of approach it through two different lenses today. Okay. The first one, looking at how different NFT projects or different NFT artists have made tangible impact with their creations, and go through a few examples on this. And secondly, touch on the idea of digital identity and how NFTs and PFPs give a kind of channel to express ourselves, start conversations, and also foster environmental change in terms of shifting culture. So, new models of impact. It was around 2 years ago now that I came across this one-of-one NFT artwork by a man named Sven Erbwin. And it's basically an image of a globe with 1,000 small black dots on it. And connected to this NFT are 1,000 tons of carbon offset, which are verified and in the smart contract of the NFT. And this actually sold on quite a famous art platform, Super Rare, which is one of the first major art platforms in the crypto art space, and kind of caught my attention because someone paid at the time around $5,000 for this, and I was like, okay, someone's willing to kind of invest in offsetting that much. And that amount of carbon, just to put it in perspective, represents what a human and industrialized economy would emit in 1 year. So turning forward time, this year, a few NFT projects that have come to my attention and that I've also worked on. The first one, Belugi's, which is actually by a 14-year-old Canadian artist who raised over $250,000 US dollars for marine conservation and other initiatives. And this kind of really blew up quickly on the Solana ecosystem, and it just showed to me like a 14-year-old artist can just enter the space like this in a very kind of quick and potent way, you know? Progressing the model further, Nemus is a project on the Ethereum network, and they work with the Amazon rainforest. So by purchasing one of these 10,000 NFTs, you basically are sponsoring or buying a piece of land in the Amazon, and importantly, funding sustainable economic activities there with indigenous people, giving it a kind of economic protection and future-proofing it from deforestation and so on. And Coral Tribe, so this is a project that I actually founded. We launched in April this year on the Solana blockchain. And we sold out in 1 hour. We raised 1.3 million US dollars. And we're all about marine protection. So part of our mission is planting corals in different locations around the world, in the Turks and Caicos, in Spain, and in Indonesia. And what really brought so much attention to our project, because there's a lot of sort of charitable and eco-focused collections out there, but what really captured the value and what really captured the market for us is also providing a return on investment. So we've aligned ourselves with impact investing and different advisors and a kind of team of curators who bring forward different impact opportunities which have a positive and measurable impact on our environment, but also provide a return on investment, which is what a lot of NFT collectors and holders are really looking to, and what really lights them up and ignites that, motivation to purchase and be part of a long-term journey. So I've spoken about a few kind of ways in which NFTs are driving capital, driving efforts, and interesting mechanisms to start catalyzing this environmental change. I'd now like to touch on digital identity. So I've got a friend who lives in Spain near me, and he actually has said to me on countless occasions, I'd rather have a Bored Ape than a Lamborghini. And it's always like stuck in my mind that, because it's like, oh my God, a Lamborghini is like 200, 300K, and it's like a supercar, you know, it has utility, you know. But yeah, he says this, and it's just to show how much people are valuing their social profile. Like nowadays, think about how many places, how much visibility your social profile gets, you know, and much more than a car locked away in a garage. So kind of taking this perspective and taking this mentality across a few other examples. Woody's is a collection on the Ethereum blockchain. They've got a community of 10,000 very engaged people. They promote some initiatives with tree planting, but are more of a lifestyle brand. And actually, they have a lot of, if you go in their Discord, there's a lot of community activities of people going hiking and kind of motivating each other to live a more sustainable life way and consume more sustainable products. And this is like one of the, this is an example of a kind of identity that you could have digitally. Coming back to the example of Coral Tribe, something we really tried to do with the art was have this like fusion between nature and technology. You can kind of see these braids here and the robot eyes. And yeah, it's giving people an opportunity to express those two passions of theirs, nature and technology, and how they come together to make an impact and represent a force or a change on this planet. And lastly, I wanted to also give this example of Chromie Squiggle, which is a generative art collection on the Ethereum blockchain that launched a couple of years ago. And these squiggles are actually, the floor price on them is about, I think it's 16 ETH right now. It's about 24,000 US dollars. And this is in a bear market. And it's just to show that a whole digital kind of movement and identity is formed around this. And it doesn't have to be an avatar. It doesn't have to be a thing with two eyes and a mouth. It can be something different. That's a representation of generative art created by an algorithm, you know? And so a digital identity can be much more than just a kind of humanoid type thing. And finally, on this idea of social icons, at the end of the day, your social profile is the vehicle for conversation, right? And just like we're all here today, we all kind of acknowledge the power of conversation, and how many times have you experienced it in your life when you speak with someone and all of a sudden there's a paradigm shift in your mind, and that changes your actions, that changes your behavior, that changes the world you go out and create and replicate, you know? So that's another really powerful route on a kind of more digital identity cultural level that NFTs are kind of providing the vehicle for. So in conclusion, I've spoken about several NFT projects and how capital is being raised, capital is being channeled, and new mechanisms in terms of gamification and bringing a return on investment to holders are kind of starting to catalyze and plant the seeds for environmental change. And secondly, how digital identity is becoming a new way for people to express themselves, and people want to express that earth-centric kind of nature vibe that they have and they're passionate for, and NFTs also represent that identity. And finally, I wanted to kind of end on this note because I feel it's kind of like there's a lot of potential here. I've been to several talks throughout the course of this time, and the two key things that stick in my mind are, one, mass adoption, how the boundaries are getting much thinner, and how the blockchain is refining itself to make Web 2 users and everyday people from the streets come onto it. So that's a huge kind of influx of people and capital. They're going to be taken up into this world. And so as someone and as a room of people who are kind of fighting for this same kind of cause, I think it's within our reach and within our capacity to organize ourselves in a way that will facilitate this kind of flow of people, capital, and motivation towards changing our environments. That's it. Thank you.